this is my recording instrument, the good old chair that's going to act as my tripod. And today we're going to be reviewing the Remarkable 2. Okay, let's just say in November 2020 I got it, and let's talk about it. So, what do we have? The promise of having a digital notepad means you can carry all your thoughts and notes in one place, one pen to do it all. This sets you back at the time when I got it, £459, including the folio cover. We'll get into the subscription model later because it has changed since then, which kind of makes it, in some respects, whether you really want to get it or not, because you have to pay a monthly subscription for the functionality. There are a few things here that you've got to understand, that this is not an iPad Pro. It's purely a replacement for paper, and what it can't do is you can't web browse. So I personally just use it as if it's a diary, a journal, a notebook, if you will. I'm going to open this up and demonstrate writing. See that? It's starting up. Now that's one other thing, as I do a live show of this, it does take some time to start up. So there you go. So what it starts off with, you have a index of your folders, and if it's a black folder it shows that it's got actual journals in it. So I'm going to go into my Maverick Next Gen workbook, which I just click. See, click. Now the good thing about this is that you can scribble and rub out using the back of the pen. Now if you think about a pencil, the pen nib will wear down. This pen nib is electromagnetic resonance, so there's some clever electrical gubbins in there, so when the pen hits the screen it registers it, and also it's got 4096 levels of pressure. You can change, go to pencil, and you can go and get the shading. Can you see that? So light, dark by the pressure. Nice. So this is a good demonstration of also in the outside. So if you're someone like an architect, surveyors, a building, you can actually see, just flick to fine liner, you can see the screen, because it's not like an LCD or reflective as such. It uses the same technology as in the Amazon Kindles, and it's paper. The actual surface it feels like paper when you actually write it. Can you hear that sound? It's very cool. And if you want to clear it, you go to the eraser, erase all. So there's lots of possibility to it. Now what I've got also is here something called a template. So a template is effectively something that allows you to select whatever. Let's have a look. What templates do I have available to me? So they categorize it in creative, grids, life organizing lines. Where's this thing? A day planner. And so what that means is you can actually select the template, and when you swipe to use another page, that's the other thing, you can go swipe left and right. So day 1, time 4:05 p.m. and then you do your notes here, and then you can select different things like paintbrush. See that? Select the stroke, so that'll stick, and then I've got thinner, grey. You now have your index homepage, really, where you can navigate and create new folders, notebooks. Click on folder, enter, folder 4, enter, create, and there is the top. Let's go and create a new notebook inside of it. It's got a date. I will have a Cornell template. I'm going to create that so you can default it with a template. There you go. When you swipe down in the center, you can navigate back to the index. Okay, and then the menu in this categorization section, the top left, My Files, you can filter by notebooks, PDFs, ebooks and favorites. If we bring it back to the point where you've got your digital notepad, with paper, a lot of things on this device becomes irrelevant. Of course, with paper you can't really search or convert text into digital format to search. You can't really organize it. You'd have to like put it in your bag or your PDFs. Anything that is physical cannot fit into a space of this size, which is, I think it's 4.7 millimeters. What you'll find is, because I'm left-handed, you can also select the right hand menu as well by going to settings. I think it's accessibility, is that right? There you go, left, right, and font size normal. What other settings do you have here? You have general, Wi-Fi. So the general, that gives you the account that you've registered your Remarkable tablet with, the email account, set up your one-time pass, and then you've also got your software version. Now, for me, I've switched off the auto update because it currently is at 2.6, and the newer updates I find seen and read lots of posts where it's a bit buggy, but that's my personal opinion. What I will do is I'll review and base comparison against this version with a recent version. The reason why I like to do this is because I've actually put on something called a DVK hack, which provides more functionality, gestures to make my workflow more efficient. So you've got Wi-Fi, battery, storage. So what am I at now? 3.46 gigabytes. Security. Oh, you can put a passcode on. Put it on. I'm going to enter my new passcode. So there you go. So when you now click the button at the top, you have a passcode. See that? Okay, and open it up. So you've got your language setting. There are multiple language settings that you can do. Keyboard language layout. Whew, haven't seen those before. Oh, handwriting conversion. There's a bunch of them. I'm not sure if you can see that there. Accessibility, left or right-handed, and help. Now, help's a really good section where you want to go to compliance, copyrights and licenses, because at the bottom is the IP address and the password. So it can be used in multiple professions. You can actually use it as I'm a technical architect, as I put software together. I also use it for journaling. You can use it to draw doodles. If you're bored, you can do crosswords. You can also put on PDF files here and read it, make notes. So if you're like a scientist or like an academic and you want to scribble on PDF research papers, you can upload them to this and actually highlight and make notes and then export it, which is quite useful. Now, I've had another video up here that also describes how to do that when you don't have access to your Wi-Fi and you just have a USB cable and use its own little web server on here. So there's lots of good things that you can look at from my channel. Now, in terms of what I would say is confidentiality, is sometimes you have to consider whether you want your documents being synced up to the cloud, because I know all these GDPR issues in cloud. So if you're a doctor, for example, you probably want to make sure that your pad, your Remarkable, is locked down, definitely with your password or whatever, but you may not want to sync any documents to the cloud, and the only way you should manage your documents is via an upload. What I would say is there is a mobile app that comes with it, so the only way the mobile app works is by syncing to the cloud, so you may not want to use that feature. When I was researching all the topics about how to use this, because essentially this is a notepad, okay, glorified notepad, infinite notepad is in essence And it's how do you organise that? So going old school, I found getting things done, a book, a way of categorising your thoughts, what you want to do in life, objectives. And I've actually made a PDF document that has quick links into it that navigates this book, this getting things done. Now I'm still enhancing it. It takes, for me to have done that, it's taken me quite a lot of thought process to be able to utilise this gadget in such a way that it's efficient. Because actually, at the end of the day, you could just use a notepad. The beauty of this is it's all in one place, it's that small, it doesn't weigh that much. But once it's broken, you're stuffed, okay? And that's one bad thing. The other thing is you've got to think about is backups, and that's another video this thing has is a cloud synchronized account. Now when I bought this back in 2020, it came with all the features and functionality free throughout the box, but now I believe at the end of 2021 they changed the subscription model, which for all you guys out there who are thinking of getting it, you've got to weigh out the costs. So for example, I think there's something like $5.99 per month is one of the subscription options, and you've got 6 times 12, £72 a year. Do you want to be playing that for the rest of your life? I wouldn't. So think about your workflow and see what features you really need and the functionality. So when I say features, essentially this is not a reflective screen, it's not an LCD screen, it's not OLED, it's just like the Kindle paper. So you can actually put your Kindle books on here, and I've got another video up here that explains how to do that. What I would say is if you really want to truly integrate it with your Outlook, your OneNote and Google Docs, things like that, it's a bit of a stretch, I have to say. It's possible, but I think you'll find it more frustrating integrating it as opposed to just taking it for what it is, which is a paper replacement. Okay, now the other thing is with regards to the nibs and everything, you can have other pens that are EMR pens and nibs. So this is the Remarkable Marker Plus, which has the eraser bit at the end. So I would recommend getting it only because of that. It saves a couple of seconds not having to opening the menu up and switching. So what I mean by that is if we go to this, so here you've got the menu on the side. If you didn't have the Marker Plus and just had the regular marker, you would do this. Scribble, scribble, actually let's do that. Scribble, scribble, scribble. And then you'd have to, so you don't have the eraser, you'd have to go to eraser, so that's and then you go there, see that? And then you have to go back to the pen. Okay, so that's just a few steps extra that you have to do if you didn't have the eraser. Now I do know there's a jumbo Stadler pen that you can get off Amazon, for example, which has an eraser built in. Now, in terms of battery life, this actually lasts for a long time. I've managed to, at times, get 3 weeks out of it. Now, given 1.5 years, these batteries, I don't know if they're replaceable. They're pretty big in area. So if I look at it, it's 6,000 milliamps. So what I mean by that is each battery is 3,000 milliamps. So that's pretty substantial, which is why I believe the Remarkable One battery life was actually subpar compared to this. So given the fact that the footprint of this has been shrunk, you're getting a lot of goodness, functionality, more time out of it. It's a very, very good tool if you have the money, about £400. I think the pricing model has changed, and you can look for information down here in the link from the Remarkable 2 website. I think if you buy something with a subscription model, it reduces it by £100 or something, but I'll find that out for you. But ultimately, it is a glorified notebook. I love it. don't get me wrong, I've got an iPad Pro, and when this went, completely broke, I missed it a lot. Now, I'm going to show you something quite grand, but look at this. I had to say, guys, I've been off radio silent partly because this actually broke. Now, what happens with this Remarkable is that there's this power button here. I'm not sure if you can see it. Just there. And it's very fragile. And so what that means is it gets jammed in. The actual power just completely disappears. The battery gets drained, and I couldn't start up the Remarkable, which means it's actually really fragile. And once that happens, it's game over. You can't really do anything. So, of course, my warranty went to an end, and I thought, well, what can I do about it? Why don't I just try and fix it? And so I've gone through the whole circle of life on this thing. Used it for over a year and a half now, and I'm loving it. It's slowly running out of space, but the thing is, I've got about 3.5 gigs left. But to be fair, you can, and in another video that's up here, you can actually see how I transfer my files using an application. What I did to fix this power button issue, to unstick it, I had to take it apart. And actually, it wasn't hard, but it was quite scary if you're not really hands-on. And if you guys want to see a secret, look, that's the back of it, you see. I still haven't quite put it back together. What we're looking at here is an expensive Linux operating system with a special user interface that has a nice surface. Now, if you wanted to look at how it was created, I've got another video up here. But this is a stunning piece of kit. When I bought it, I had all the features, and because I was one of the first people to take it on, you get all the new updates and features that come along with the firmware update. What you'd expect is to be able to send your documents to yourself through email, and there's this little send by email feature here, and convert text to send. Now, because it's a subscription model, if you bought it, I think it was if you bought it after October 2021, then this functionality would be greyed out, which is a real pain, right? Because you feel you should be able to send by email first off, this document, and also convert to text as standard. But to be fair, in my opinion, the convert to text software isn't great unless your handwriting is very neat, and mine isn't. So I just completely dismiss it. Now, this is what's interesting. So when this died on me and I hadn't fixed it, by the way, it took about 2 hours to fix and take it apart, of course, because it's quite a skillful thing. Videos up here. What had happened is that I needed to actually use my iPad Pro to do some writing. So I found this application called Nebo, only because this converts text application uses Nebo in the cloud to convert to text. So on the iPad Pro, I got the application, started using it, and that actually is amazing. That converts to text, and it does 100 of other things that I will do a review on later. But what I'm getting at, guys, is if you need something that actually integrates pictures, where you want to take pictures from your phone or iPad, want to join up PDFs and link and integrate with other applications, this is not for you. Whilst it says it integrates with Google Docs and OneNote and a host of other things, I've done another one on Evernote up here, it doesn't really work that well. So it's not integrating. You can't really search from this platform because it's closed down. But what I would say is, if you want something to replace your paper and you've got workflow dialed into a T, where you're just using your diary, your journal and everything else, this is excellent, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up now, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Give me a like if you like this, subscribe to my channel to get more videos, and I will see you in another vid. Ciao!